try this one more time with feeling. How is everybody doing? I plugged in my, first off, let me make sure you can hear me. Check 1, 2. It looks like you can hear me on my OBS. Jesus. I plugged in my LAN cable. So we should be good this time. But because there were just like I by the time I have the 5th thing go wrong, then I got to start over. I just got to start over. Music, everything. We had to start over because it's a production, people, okay? It's a production. Jesus. I think we're good now, though. You know, sometimes you got to use that LAN cable, right? I don't know. Maybe the internet's been spotty lately. It has been windy lately, and sometimes when it's windy, it can cause a spotty connection. Am I right, or am I just talking out of my ass? Who knows? Who knows? Could be either way, right? Let's try again. Kieran Spruce, Scott Lauderdale, Mark Jones, Rosemary, how you doing? I'll be there Sunday. Scott Lauderdale, Knight. What's in a name? Brock Whiting, Fractal, Polly, Dan, Trina. I want to like look up and then middle and then to the right and then down. Just this lovely fellow. And they knew that it was much more than a hunch. That this group must somehow form a chat group. That's the way they all became the Drumdums bunch. The Drumdums bunch. That's stupid sounding. Sorry. Jesus. Oh no, Rosemary. Sorry to hear that. I never know if I can go until like the last minute because my schedule's always so freaking wonky. But yeah. Man, I feel comfortable now though. At least you guys are rolling really nice, so it's good. DD Bunch does have a better ring to it. I agree. Jesus, is Dave Vanderhoff still in there? Or did he give up? Chris, what's up, brother? How you doing? Fluff, nice to see you. Jeremy Libersat. Vinny, what's up, Vinny? Yeah, 100th. Maybe that's another reason why I just started over too, because it's your 100th episode. You don't want to freaking, be all over the place with your stream. So, yeah, 100 episodes. Just I guess to comment on that first. Wow, I remember, and this isn't my 100th live stream. It's probably like my 300th live stream or something like that. But you start out and you do like collaboration type streams and you're going over here and you're going over here. And I never really kind of did my own show. And so a couple years ago, man, it might have been like 3 years ago now. I said, you know what? Let's start it off just my own show. I'll come up with my own topics and it'll be fun. And it feels like yesterday. And sometimes I go back and I'll look at those, what was DDLive number 1? What did that look like? And wow, my lighting, like if you go back and look at it, that little square with me in it right there, it's so dark because I had like this really shitty webcam at the time. And I got no excuse because I had been doing YouTube for a couple years, even at that time. But it just along the way, I started upgrading some of my equipment. And matter of fact, this camera that I'm using right now, this is a 4K, and I just upgraded this one probably a month ago, something like that. Polly loves double D's. There you go, Rosalie. How are you doing? Yeah, but yeah, and here we are, 100 episodes in, and then you always think you're like, damn, I got to make it special, right? But no, I figured, it's 100 episodes. We'll celebrate a little bit, but we'll keep it business as usual, right? I got way too many topics, and I probably won't cover all of them today. But we definitely got Terrifier 3. We're going to talk about that. I got some music talk in Dream Theater. Now, a lot of you won't know what I'm talking about with this. I guess this is kind of for me. But I'll talk a little bit about Dream Theater, how important they are to me as a musician, as the artists that they are. And the news is that Mike Portnoy, the drummer, founding member, is back in the band after 14 years. Brooke Scarlett, how you doing? So we'll talk about that. I got my funnies, and I got a couple topics in the funnies. Matter of fact, we'll start off with the fun. You guys want to start off with the funnies? And I got a couple little topical items in the funnies that we can hit. All right, we can hit. And I still got like a couple of things from my last stream that I got to clip out, and it's just one thing really that we did. Remember last week, guys, we did top 10 slashers with no sequel. That was kind of fun, right? We had a good time with that. So, yeah. Thank you, Fachi. What's up, brother? How you doing? Yeah, man. You know, and I think I remember pretty close to around when I started doing my own show, my own DDLive. A lot of you guys like Fachi and Chris Snyder and Destiny and Jason. You guys all started doing your own channels. And it was fun watching you guys grow. It was really, really cool. Yeah. So yes, Ryan Underwood, Portnoy is the man. All right. So let's go over to the funnies real quick. All right, funnies real quick. And this is a no context funny. This is something that you can steal. I just thought the image itself was so damn funny, and it doesn't matter what the punchline is, right? That could be the punchline. I don't know. Okay. I remember what the joke was that led to that, but I'm going to keep that to myself. I just like Johnny Carson used to do, was it Johnny Carson who would give you the punchline first and then he would give you, kind of like Jeopardy, right? It's like a backwards type thing. But a chance for Faramir to show his quality. That's, well, you know that's from Lord of the Rings, right? Because Faramir was the brother of Boromir, and he was always kind of pissed on by his father, you know, metaphorically. Is it metaphorically or figuratively? I don't know. But yeah, he wasn't literally pissed on by his father, but yeah, he was just constantly shit on. Poor guy, you felt bad for him. And I think he's relatable. I think a lot of us that have a lot of siblings, especially the more siblings you got, the less chance that you're the pride and joy. And so I'm trying to. What was it that sparked that? Because what it was I go on to this like meme site, and then the comments are always the funny thing, right, guys? I love the comments, and I went into the comments because you can always see shit like this, and I was like, oh, I got to steal that. No, guys, I'll tell you what it was. Okay. I'll tell you what it was. All right. The beginning of it was, it said something like Asian women really like American guys. That was the meme. Okay. Asian women like American guys. All right. And so then there you go. That's an American guy. A chance for Faramir to show his quality. Right. They don't all look like that. Okay. Let's go to the next one. I love funnies. You know what? I do these for funnies. Everything else is bullshit. All right. Funnies are really what this is all about. Okay. All right. Now, by the way, guys, Trina sent me some of these. Thank you, Trina. And you'll see them along the way. But wanted to give her a shout out. So next one. Here we go. During your times of trial and suffering, when you saw only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. Isn't that beautiful? And I think it's nice of Jason to actually, carry the load. Hey, we're tying it right back to Lord of the Rings. Remember end of Lord of the Rings? They carried that damn ring for freaking 3,000 miles. And then, Sam picked up Frodo and he carried him across. I didn't plan for this to tie in with Lord of the Rings, but here we are, right? So, but it's nice of Jason to do that. If the victim can't walk because he's probably impaled her with a machete, then he carries her, which is really nice. Okay. Next one. changed my mind. I have actually seen this one going around a little bit too, but Trina sent it to me. Thank you, Trina. Says, those teenagers deserved it. Change our minds, right? And you know what? He's right. He's right, because a lot of times they're either a complete asshole, like Trent, or they went somewhere where they probably shouldn't have, like Camp Crystal Lake, or, living in Haddonfield is probably the stupidest place in the world to live, if you really think about it, and living on Elm Street. Living on Elm Street is pretty stupid, if knowing what we all know, right? And there's no way that story wouldn't get out, So, yeah. Next one is, I like when they mix two different horror icons. Like what if they did like a Hannibal movie and a Pennywise movie? And it would be, that quid pro quo would be kind of fun, right? Because it would kind of be like an alley-oop, Hannibal will set it up, and then Pennywise thinks he's got the upper hand, and then here he comes, So I don't like clowns. Why? They scare you? No, they taste funny. See? And so he freaks out. He freaks out Pennywise. So, yeah. This next one's called cocaine. It is a hell of a drug, right? Cocaine. All right, here you go. Cocaine. Movie director. Hey, guys, you know what this vampire movie really needs? I want to know how they got there, right? How did they get there? Was it the 80s? Like back in the 80s, was this such a unique and shocking idea? I don't know, but I don't think that would happen today. It's a freaking vampire, like a serious. It's not even a comedy. That's the crazy thing. Lost Boys is probably the most serious vampire movie ever. And we got to throw in a sweaty sax guy with his shirt off. That's 80s, guys. I can't explain that. That shit wouldn't happen in the any other time, right? So, yeah, thank God for the 80s. Thank God for the 80s. Jesus. Okay. Let's see. We'll skip that one because it's topical. No, we'll just go to it. Fuck it. We'll just go to it. All right. This is something that I wrote up just one day. I was bored. And I was like, you know what? Let me give you the reason why I wrote this, okay? A couple reasons. First thing is, I'm like, God, I'm tired from constantly defending Halloween movies that I love. So you know what? How about this? How about I write up just a one little quote of something negative that not I say, but that I constantly hear about each movie, right? These are phrases that are not going to surprise you. And the reason I did this is because it was also kind of a test. In today's butthurt, sensitive movie fan world, will somebody take offense to this? Even though I'm literally laying out to you nothing provocative or shocking or surprising. Those are all quotes that we constantly hear about each one of those movies. So I think it's evident. And plus, if you know me, I love most of the movies, right? But sure enough, some people took offense. They got upset. How dare you say something bad about, take your pick. Halloween 2. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. How dare you? Somebody said, how dare you say something about the original Halloween 2? And I got quite a few negative comments on this, and I loved it. It made me happy. That's what I was looking for, But the only one I couldn't really say anything bad about, but I probably could have, thinking back, I probably could have said, stop dropping the damn knife. That's probably what I should have said for the first one, okay? But just to run through them real quick, Halloween, and you guys let me know if you think I'm out of line on these, okay? If you think, no way that I should dare say that. And by the way, this is my favorite franchise. I freaking love just about every movie, okay? So, but you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm going to go on the other side of things, and I'm going to try to say something negative about every movie in my favorite franchise and see what the reaction is. And sure enough, the reaction was the internet. That's what the reaction was. So So yeah, guys, let me know along the way, okay, how you feel about these. Give me a whoa, stop the clock. I don't like what you're saying about Halloween 6, okay, something like that, okay. So Halloween, the immortal classic movie. Halloween 2, the why is Laurie comatose through half the movie, and these are things that I just kind of came up with that are just common complaints about each movie, okay. But that one guy was pissed off that I said, why is Laurie comatose? How dare I say that about this beloved movie? And by the way, Halloween 2 is easily one of the best sequels in the franchise, okay? Halloween 3, where's Michael Myers movie? That's what people were saying when it came out, okay? Now everybody loves the movie to death, including me. But back when it came out, that was the reaction. Where the fuck is Michael Myers, okay? Halloween 4, the what's up with the dollar store mask. Now, I will say, when this came out in the theater, Halloween 4, I never heard any complaints about the mask. Now, to be fair, I wasn't having nearly as many conversations about the movie as I do now with, the internet and you guys and message boards and whatnot, But it took a long time before I started hearing complaints about the mask. And it's one of those things where it's like, how did I not realize that? Maybe that's just a compliment to the movie, that it was just that effective, that a mask that looked completely atrocious, it didn't get in the way, right? But looking back at it, yeah, you guys, some of you might not know this. Let me know if you don't know this, okay? I tell you what, I'm going to test you guys right now. Whose face is the Halloween 4 mask modeled after? Okay? I need your answer. Whose face is the Halloween 4 mask modeled after? I'll take a drink. I'll wait. I'll see if the name pops up. Okay? The shoulder pads are really bad. You're right, Blade Brown. You are right. That's it. It's Michael Jackson, Nick Castle. I have no idea. Jimmy, really? Nobody knows. It was Danielle Harris. That's who it was, Joseph. Wow. I'm about ready to blow you guys' mind right now. Okay, you ready for this? And this, Blade Brown gets it. And I have a source, okay? If you go to the Halloween 4 documentary that's on the big box set, they literally state this. It is actually the William Shatner mask. But the problem was, it was too white, the paint that they used, because they got it in a skin tone color, and that with, I think, like a blonde hair, and that actual mask shows up in one scene in the movie, as we all know. But yeah, so they painted it white. They had to quickly fix it, so they painted it white, but the paint they used was way too thick and way too white. And what it did was it covered up all the I guess imperfections, all the character of the mask, the curvature of the face, the cheekbones. It just made it look like a white blank slate. And so it just goes to show how important the aesthetics of any mask are, and that you don't paint it too white. Also the lighting. Luckily they had like amazing lighting in Halloween 4, and I think it worked for the most part. But yeah, pretty interesting. And I didn't even know that until I saw that documentary. And I was like, wow, that is actually a William Shatner mask. Okay. Halloween 5, the What's Wrong with That Chick movie. Are any of you pissed off about that one? Now, I got to say, I've come around to Tina. I like her now. She's fun. She's sassy. But for a while there, I found her pretty annoying. And she is still kind of annoying, but when this movie came out, that was like, what the hell is wrong with this chick? That was what was on everybody's mind, okay? Halloween 6, is that his baby movie? Because they never really, especially in the theatrical cut, they never really like who was baby Steven's father? That was the big question. And then the producer's cut comes out, way back when they did like the bootleg producer's cut. And I think back then it came out that Michael Myers was the father. And like, what? Why would you do that? Why would you write that into the story? As much as I love Halloween 6, I think it's my number 3 in the franchise, but that's why I love the theatrical cut. When I made my own version cut of the movie, I made sure I took out anything that made it look like Myers was the father. Okay, Lee, yesterday was my 21st wedding anniversary. Dude, happy anniversary, Dave. That's awesome, man. Congratulations, 21 years. That is great. The age of Michael Myers when he escapes Smith's Grove. Is this that moment where Laurie Strode in H2O, she looks up at the birthday card and it says 17th birthday? Should you like run out of your house now, Dave? I'm starting to worry. Okay. But yeah, happy anniversary. That's awesome. H2O, what is with this music and what the fuck is with all the mask in the movie? Yes. And I could have added a couple other things, but I was being kind. Halloween Resurrection, the Trick or Treat motherfucker movie. Halloween 2007, the Halloween in the Trailer Park movie. Nobody's going to argue that, okay? Nobody's going to argue that. I guarantee you. That's what it was. Even if you like it, that's what it was. Okay? Matter of fact, let's put it this way. If I just said, hey, out of all the Halloween movies, which one would you consider the Trailer Park movie? Without question, you would say Rob Zombie's Halloween. Okay? There goes my damn phone again. Let me see if I can turn this off. Hold on. Damn it. There we go. Okay. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. This is not Halloween movie. You know, that was probably my toughest one to come up with a phrase for. So I think you could probably come up with a better title than This Is Not Halloween, but that's just what a lot of people were saying when it came out. This just doesn't feel like Halloween. So it's not wrong. I think maybe the better title would be The White Horse movie. Would you guys agree with that? The White Horse movie? I think that's what it is. The White Horse movie. Okay. Halloween 2018, The Girls Getting It Done movie. That's what it is. All three of them Strode women, they just take care of business at the end of the day. Every guy in that movie gets whipped like a freaking idiot, you know? It's funny. It's really fun. Like, what's funny is freaking, I think they should have cast a different actor to play Ray, and I think he should have had at least a better some better dialogue in the movie, you know, because I mean, thinking back, like Brady was a good guy character in Halloween, you know. At the end of the day, he stood up for Rachel and Jamie. He was willing to give his life, but he was just more heroic, I think, you know. Whereas freaking Ray, I mean, you already got three women that are like Wonder Woman. And then you're not going to give a tough guy in there, you know? I don't know. That was one of my issues with 2018. You got to level the playing field a little bit. Halloween Kills, the who the fuck thought this was Myers movie. That's the big complaint that I hear about that. But I probably should have just called it the Evil Dives Tonight movie. Maybe it was just too on the nose and I didn't even like realize it. But yeah, A Horse with No Name. I like that, Rosalia. And then Halloween Ends, I was kind to this one because I know a lot of people hate Halloween Ends, but I called it the Copycat Corey movie because that's what it is. Which, by the way, guys, I posted a question on Killer Flicks today, and I need your answer. Okay, how do we feel about copycat killers in franchises? And I think we really only have two, right? We got Halloween, we got Corey, and then we got Friday with Roy. Chris Snyder did bring up the idea that in New Nightmare, that's not really the same Freddy. So would that technically be considered a copycat? I say no because he's still kind of the essence of Freddy. He's still kind of the soul, I guess, of Freddy. Am I right on that, guys? I'm not a New Nightmare expert or anything. It's not one of my go-to movies in the franchise, so I could be way off here. But the thing I brought up in the in Killer Flicks was, wouldn't it be kind of cool if we did a copycat killer in Nightmare on Elm Street? Because Robert Englund is so like married to that character that, you know, with the thought of anybody else playing Freddy is automatically a negative. You know, even with Jackie Earle Haley, I think Jackie Earle Haley was pretty decent, but he still was not liked. You know, the makeup was off, and it's hard to compete with Robert Englund. So I think that franchise would benefit from a copycat Freddy character with a different name. And I know that's a little crazy to say, and I know some people are going to throw freaking pickles at me, but you know me with risk and taking chances in franchises. At the end of the day, what we're doing is just setting up our new killer, right? He's still going to do the same shit, you know. Don't act like Robert Englund was amazing in every single movie. And it's not Robert Englund's fault. It's just the direction of what they did with the character, right? He's really great in, say, the first 3 movies, arguably the 4th. But, you know, he had a couple of embarrassing moments in the franchise, for sure. So I'd be down if they actually came up with a copycat Freddy killer. I think it'd be kind of cool. You know, and, you know, maybe it's a different street, you know, maybe it's not, maybe it's Elm Street. I don't know. But I don't know. The more I think about it, it could be interesting if the script was done right. DEFCON Prime Experience, he says, have you seen or heard of LIE, Lie, Good Luck? Nope, never heard of it. I'll have to look it up. Never heard of it. Dude says, I might get that wish. Really? Okay. Do you know something that I don't know about Nightmare? You might. That, man, I tell you, they've been hush about Nightmare, and I'm hoping something's going on behind the scenes. Mega Cat, what's up, man? Kulor says, have you seen The Strangers and Strangers to Pray at Night? What do you think of them making a trilogy of the new films? The trilogy will be spread throughout 2024. That's a really good question. Yeah, I love both Strangers movies. I like that they're both very different from each other, but while still having the same killers. They're so different that it's hard for me to pick. I mean, like, I think the entertainment popcorn guy in me loves 2 better, Pray at Night. But I think the, for lack of a better term, I guess, art house type horror guy would like the first one better, if that makes sense. I think the first one might be the better directed movie, but I don't even know about that because I think the second one's directed really well too. I like the franchise. I like the characters. So I'm really excited for this new trilogy. I think it can work. I know with what they did with like the Fear Street trilogy, that was over a couple of months in, I think last year. Was it last year? Netflix. So we've seen they can do this. They can put out 3 movies in a year and they can all be effective because I think Fear Street was pretty effective, all 3 movies. I think 78 was the best, but all 3 tied together for a pretty unique and compelling story. So, yeah. Born to be Rad, what's up, guys? What's up, guys? Hey, you know, maybe I'll do that for the next live stream. I'll do the 9 movies that scared me. That could be fun. Man, you guys come up with like the best tags these days. Really proud of you. You're kicking ass. Yeah, that could be fun though. Because The Exorcist would definitely be on there. Halloween 4 would definitely be on there. Blair Witch would definitely be on there. So there's 3. I'm trying, like, what, guys, tell me right now, what is the last movie that genuinely shook you? Like, genuinely scared you? Because I'm having a tough time. I'll say right now, the scariest movie of this year for me was probably When Evil Lurks. And that's not even my favorite movie of the year, but it's definitely the scariest. When Evil Lurks has some freaky shit in it, okay? Those foreign directors, they know how to scare, right? Scott Lauderdale says Red State. I haven't even seen that. With today's world climate, copycats are normal now. Copycats are normal now. Do you mean like just in general as far as like remakes and, you know, of music and movies and all this stuff? Yeah, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong, if that's what you mean. But yeah, you're not wrong. A word on Blair Witch, okay? Because I know Blair Witch is a controversial movie. Although I think these days, like, guys, tell me right now in the chat, just like or dislike. Do you like or dislike Blair Witch Project, okay? I think that movie is genius for the way it was marketed and the execution, because it didn't play out like a normal movie, you know? And I think that's what would have gotten them in trouble back then, is if you set up this whole lost tape idea and you sell it like this is real, this is not fake, these are actual dead people, and we found the tape. Can you imagine the second you go and watch that movie and it's just a normal Hollywood movie, it would just ruin it within the first 5 minutes. So you had to come up with something completely unique, and it had to feel like a real home video. And for them to be able to pull that off, I think is absolutely stunningly genius. And then to boot, to literally shake you and scare the shit out of you at the end of the movie. It was like what you would call there weren't like set up jump scares in the movie. It was just the entire environment and how it felt real. And you knew that eventually all of them were going to die. And I think that's the thing, is you're waiting for the end of the tape. And then seeing that guy just standing there in the corner, man, I saw in the theater, and it freaked me the fuck out. I'm not going to lie. And it's been a long time since I've been freaked out like that. That was pretty damn effective. So yeah, I'll come up with some more though. Demons is a good one. Demons is a really freaky ass movie. One of my favorite Italian horror movies. I'd even say freaking Suspiria. The original Suspiria's got some freaky ass shit in it too. Am I right, guys? Yeah. That's a fun list to put together, Rad Pack. Damn it. Shit. Oh, man. All right, let's go to the next funny. This one's late for the bus. Late for the bus. All right. Kids in movies will see this on the table, take a sip of orange juice, and say, "I'm late for the bus." This actually happened in H2O. I just watched H2O recently, and Josh Hartnett is coming into the kitchen, and he takes a sip of orange juice, got his backpack on, heads the fuck out the door. You know, everybody's late at the beginning of any horror movie at breakfast. Am I right, guys? And they usually have like the greatest fucking breakfast you can possibly imagine. Like what we would give to have that breakfast, right? And you're going to take a sip of orange juice? Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here with that. Jesus. I want some waffles. Look at those waffles. Damn. Right? All right. Next one. This one's called Never Give Up. Never give up. There you go. If you love her, chase her and never give up. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. Actually, you know, it's a good notion, never give up, but don't cross that line, okay? You don't want to cross that line. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to skip that one because that's going to be a topic, but we're going to come back to it, okay? So you don't know what I'm talking about. Tattoo has meaning, all right? Guys, every tattoo. How many of you guys have tattoos in the chat, okay? And those of you that have tattoos, do they have like a special meaning for you? You probably got like a really compelling story about the day that you got that tattoo. It might have like an emotional meaning. It just might be that you're a fan of something. But usually, you know, tattoos are important, right? So I don't have any tattoos yet. I've always I think I'm just scared of getting the wrong one, right? But I think I finally found the one that could be perfect, that I want to get, okay? And I found, literally, it was on a meme site. I found it, and so this is it right here, guys. Okay? Here we go. Big moment. Yeah. Is that like a Hellraiser? Like a Hellraiser type? I stared at that thing for like 10 minutes trying to figure out what it was, and then I realized it was just a stack of chairs. Oh, Jesus. Somebody literally got that tattoo. That's what's crazy. Somebody literally got a tattoo of a stack of lawn chairs. Oh, man. That's great. That's great. Okay. This next one's called Tip Just a tip, I promise. That's a great t-shirt. I'd like to get that t-shirt. I'd like to have it in black though, right? Okay. Next one is called Windows. And then we're going to talk about a topic real quick, okay? Do you know why? Okay, here we go. Do you know why you shouldn't fart in the Apple Store? Why? Because they don't have windows. I laugh at the jokes that I pull, okay? This is for me, all right? Okay. All right, so I got this topic here, and we're going to get through this one, okay? All right, here we go. Let me make that smaller. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys, we all know about Best Buy and, the announcement that they're not going to be selling physical media by the end of the year. And I'm still kind of in shock, but I shouldn't be, because if you've been to Best Buy this year, you can kind of see it coming. Like, it's like every time I went into a Best Buy, the physical media section was smaller. And I remember like last year, remember the last time you went to Best Buy and the physical media section was just like massive, and they had like at least 5 rows, different categories, different genres. And there was a good chance that you might find a deep cut in there. And there were good days. The sun was out, shining, everything. It was a really cool time to be alive. And this is going to be like when we used to harken back to the video store. Remember? We used to go to, I even have a video on my channel from like 6 years ago where I went to my local video store and it was literally closing. And so I was like, I need to go over there and do a video in there before it's just gone. Because you don't see video stores anymore. So now we're at the next logical step of that. You know what, Trina? That's a good thought, actually. I didn't even think about, like, guys, I think books are going to be safe. Because I think books, it's just a different thing, because people like to hold a book. You like to turn the pages. You like to feel, I don't think everybody likes reading from a Kindle. It can be kind of annoying. So I don't think books are going anywhere, but that is actually something I never even thought about. Can you imagine a day where books are gone? Jesus, that'd be crazy. But I did a video on physical media about a month ago. I clipped it out and I put it on my second channel, but I could already see more developments coming down the line, and here we are. And it just happened to be when I was planning on doing a review. I was wanting to review Offerings. If you don't know what Offerings is, it's a title that I've heard of through the years as being the biggest Halloween ripoff ever made. Like there's influence and then there's just plagiarism. And I was always curious. I was like, I need to check out Offerings. And so finally I looked up Offerings. It's not available. It's out of print on physical media. Sure, you can find it, but the cheapest you'll find it for is probably around like $45 because it's out of print. I found it on eBay. But luckily, I always have that streaming backup, right? I thought, surely, if I type in Offerings, I'll get at least like a bevy of different streaming options, right? That I could probably go to Amazon. I could probably go to Vudu, maybe Shudder, maybe Screenbox. And no, Offerings was nowhere to be found in any of those. And so then I made this post on Twitter. This proves my point. You can't find Offerings anywhere streaming now. It was on Amazon Prime last year. I did some digging and I found out that it was on Amazon Prime last year. It's out of print on Blu-ray and DVD. So once all the physical media copies are gone, it could be gone forever. It can be found on YouTube, but the quality is quite bad. And that's true. It is on YouTube. It's watchable, but I mean, yeah, the HD Blu-ray copy, it's not around. Now, there is an update to this since I posted this. One of my Twitter followers, he literally did find this title on streaming. But it is one of those super, super deep cut Roku apps. But there's a neat little trick that I didn't know. Maybe a lot of you guys do know this, but if you have Roku, on your main Roku page, right? On the left, if you scroll down to search, you can search for any movie and it'll pull up any app that has that movie. And I did that and I searched for offerings. And sure enough, there was an app that actually had it. But here's where the story gets weird, though. I went into the app that I found. It's called like Fear something. I can't remember the name of the app. It's such a deep cut. I've never even heard of it. One of the apps has like softcore porn, and it had offerings. So, yeah. But yeah, that's where I could find it. But here's the thing. Like this particular app, a lot of apps, they have their own website, right? But this one did not have a website. Because sometimes when I'm doing reviews, I like to go to the website, like say if I'm using like Netflix or if I'm using Amazon, I can open up my ice cream recorder and I can record footage, B-roll footage that I want to use for my reviews because I like to use the highest quality. And if I don't have the Blu-ray, then I can pull it from a streaming service. Some of these super, super deep cut apps don't even have a website. So you can't really pull it up from your computer, or at least I haven't figured out how to do it yet. So you're pretty much stuck with having to buy the Blu-ray. Now I'm speaking in, if you're a YouTuber and you're wanting to get the movie so you can get some B-roll, okay? But let's just say you're not a YouTuber and you just want offerings, okay? Yeah, there's a deep cut app out there that you can get it. But I guess my point is I would bet money that eventually that title is going to be completely wiped from the face of the earth. Because right now, you can't find it on the upper crust apps. It's already fell off of those. Now it's on the ones that are literally hanging from the cliff. These are apps that I'm going to bet are probably not even going to be around in a couple years. Apps come and go. So this is getting scary. This is my point. These are first world problems. I know that, but I mean, we're getting close. We're getting close to the day where a lot of those deep cut horror movies, and pick another genre, any movie, just a deep cut movie, it might be gone from the face of the earth forever. And here's what really kind of freaks me out. Can you imagine? Say it's like 5 years down the road, and there is this movie that's been gone, for 5 years, and the notion that there was a full-on, say, 2K scan HD version at one time of that movie existed, and now it's gone. You can't find it. You can't find it like in circulation. You could pay top dollar and get it used off of eBay, of course. But yeah, I mean, I guess this is just the latest development. And at this point, is physical media savable? I don't know. I don't know. And what I mean by that is, yeah, I think there are certain titles that are still going to be available on physical media for quite a few more years. Okay. Up like your Marvel movies, although in Australia, Disney's not selling Marvel movies on physical media anymore after I think the first of the year. So, but yeah, I think there's going to be a day where physical media is going to be kind of a niche market. I do think it'll exist. I think there'll be smaller companies that are still putting out the movies, but it ain't going to be like your freaking Amazon and your, not Amazon, but your Best Buy, your Walmart, stuff like that. Okay. Do you see what the point I'm getting at? This is how scary it's starting to get. And it might not affect you, but boy, does it affect a lover of deep cut horror movies or just movies in general, because I happen to get more excited about covering those titles than the newer stuff. That's just me. I love finding deep cut movies. They're just fun to discover. They're fun to cover. Like I'm in love with 1972 right now. For some reason, I've been seeing so many freaking movies pop up from 1972, and I'm like, damn, 72 must have been just a really good year. I just love the look of those movies, you know. I like the actors back then. I like the just everything about it. I just love that period, and I think there's gonna come a day when we're not gonna have those deeper cut type movies. You know, it's scary first world problem times. You know, and you know, we can kind of compare this to vinyl too, because when did vinyl kind of take a step out of the limelight? I think it was the 90s. Was it like the early 90s, something like that? And there was a long period of time, I want to say maybe 15, 20 years, where nobody was buying vinyl. And you couldn't find, it was tough to find anything on vinyl when CDs were in their heyday. And I think when CDs started falling off because of digital music, then I think there was a market for vinyl because of the whole retro thing. Everybody was really getting into retro, and it was just, but I mean, really think about it. How long of a wait did we have between when vinyl left the market and when it came back, right? I mean, I think 20 years might be a safe bet. So can you imagine physical media goes the same route as vinyl? Can you imagine having to wait 20 years for physical media to start finding a viable market again? It blows my mind. Does this blow your guys' mind? Because it really blows my mind. It blows my mind. It's crazy to me that movies like Offerings are pretty much already falling off the face of the earth. And I didn't think it would be this quick, but here we are. So something to think about, you know. I don't even know if it's a fixable problem at this point. You know, I think niche companies are going to still be around. I think there will be a customer base. And I guess the message, you know, if I could leave this on a high note, I'd say just support, you know, companies like Arrow, Synapse Films, Vinegar Syndrome, you know, Shout Factory. I think more now than ever support those companies, you know, because that's how we keep them around, right? Because the big studios don't really care about physical media anymore. So, yeah. Okay. Let's go over to, let's do Terrifier 3. Terrifier 3. And there's a reason I got Trick or Treat on there too. We'll get there. So let me go over here, change this. All right, and news. There we go. All right. So today, Damien Leone posted a brand new image or it's like a picture of an image for Terrifier 3. And to everybody's shock, it's actually going to be a Christmas movie. Which, guys, how do we feel about Christmas horror movies? I actually love Christmas horror movies to death. There's just something about the vibe and the feel of a Christmas horror movie. I don't know what it is. I think horror mixed with like Christmas colors and what they just fit together perfectly. And just to give you an example, like Black Christmas, Kieran Spruce, yeah, Black Christmas. One thing that made Black Christmas so creepy was that it was on Christmas. And that scene where the carolers are outside the door and they're singing Christmas carols, Silent Night. And while they're singing it, you have this scene where Barb is getting stabbed by this ornament, right? And so there was kind of a juxtaposition there. But the music, I think, added to the creep factor. Would you agree with that? And I think that's something that we find quite often in Christmas horror movies. I think it just kind of ups the creep factor. And I think Christmas horror is getting more and more popular throughout the years because so many of them keep cropping up every year now. Like there's a new one called It's a Wonderful Knife. Have you guys heard of this movie? It's a slasher, a Christmas slasher, and it comes out this year. I think next month. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna be doing a stream after I watch it with Sean Chandler and Rachel's reviews, and we're gonna do kind of a recap, our opinions on the movie, and then just talk about like Christmas horror in general. That's coming, but yeah, it's like every single year there is a new, like there's a Christmas anthology, like a Christmas horror story. You got Better Watch Out, which is like a psychotic horror type of movie. But yeah, again, it's just the Christmas vibe really suits it. And I think with Terrifier, is really suited for Christmas. And just because of how crazy violent it is. But Terrifier 2, I think the colors would suit the movie. I mean, hell, you have Art carrying this big bag of tools. So wouldn't it be cool if his bag of tools were like green, like a Christmas color? I think somebody even did like an image of that and they colored the bag green, and it works. It really works. So let's take a look at this real quick. So Christmas comes early. Terrifier 3 teaser slashes down the chimney. Only in theaters November 1st. So Terrifier 2 is being re-released in theaters. And they're going to do a teaser trailer, I guess, at the end of the movie. I would wager that teaser is going to drop online pretty quickly thereafter. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go see Terrifier 2 in a theater again, yeah, it's probably one of the best movies of last year. So yeah, Bloody Disgusting and Cineverse are extending the Halloween season and celebrating Christmas a bit early next week with the theatrical re-release of Damien Leone's box office hit Terrifier 2, which will be the only way you'll be able to see a sneak peek teaser for Terrifier 3. So there might be a good wait before you can actually see the teaser after that. Leone teases, for those of you speculating that the Terrifier 3 teaser is just going to be some 20-second gimmick, I assure you it's a legit teaser trailer. It's over 2 minutes long, and you're going to fucking love it. Exclusively in theaters November 1st. Wow. That is actually pretty damn cool. Ahead of the Terrifier 3 teaser slashing into theaters on November 1st, the film's first official poster art has leaked online. Terrifier 3 is a Christmas horror movie. The movie will feature a special introduction from creator Damien Leone, along with a never-before-seen Terrifier 3 teaser, both exclusive to theaters. So that means they've probably shot a good bit of footage already. In addition, on opening night, the first 100 fans at each theater will receive an exclusive Terrifier 3 poster. Look at this poster, guys. That is badass. Love that poster. And he's got like Santa Claus's ripped facial skin and wearing it as a necklace in true art fashion. Yeah, this could be freaking awesome. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. Going back over here, the possibilities for a Terrifier 3 Christmas movie, oh, it just sounds so freaking fun. Now, I guess my big question, too, is Lauren Rivera. I'm sure she's going to return, right? Because she was alive, and she's probably one of the best final girls to come along in a long time. So I'm hoping and praying that she returns, which I'm sure she's got it, right, guys? I'm sure she will. One thing to note was I was on Blu-ray.com today and looking at the Terrifier 3 thread, and somebody said, I really hope that they tone down the gore in this next one. And I'm like, this guy clearly does not know what Terrifier is, okay? There's no way they're going to tone down the gore. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. So, yeah. If anything, it's going to be even more gory. And I think the possibility to set up some great kill sequences for a Christmas setting, limitless. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be really fun. So, yeah. And while I got Trick or Treat here, there was a reason I put this on here. Now, do a lot of you guys know that Trick or Treat is actually finally getting, I think, a 4K release? Yeah, here we go. So it was announced I want to say maybe a couple months ago, that Trick or Treat was coming to 4K. And I haven't heard or seen any news of it since. But man, I got excited, and I actually do have. I've actually bought Trick or Treat on Blu-ray a couple times. One of them was like a German media book release, and then I got another one off of eBay. There's a seller that sells them off of eBay, but the problem is the transfers. They're definitely serviceable, but they're not that great. And the media book release I got, the audio was pretty bad. And I actually have the DVD release too that has like Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne on the front. But yeah, so I still don't think I'm sure they got the master, but it's kind of a muted colored type of movie anyway, which is a shame for a Halloween movie. But still, I love Trick or Treat. But it's now streaming on Screambox for the first time. And the reason you want to take note of that, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but let me see, where does it say? As promised, the company has premiered Trick or Treat just in time for Halloween weekend, exclusively on BD's Screambox. Where did I see it? There's something here that said, here we go. Red Shirt Pictures recently acquired the incredibly rare horror gem and provided it with a brand new 4K restoration that will be received a 4K UHD and Blu-ray special edition at a later date. So the date hasn't been announced, but I think if you watch it on Screambox, I could have sworn I read somewhere on here that that's the transfer that they use for Screambox. So, yeah, Cineverse is giving horror fans a whole new reason to scream the spooky season, as they have acquired the 1986 horror cult classic from Red Shirt Pick. So, yeah, I think that means that they got the actual transfer, right? And so, yeah. So, guys, do any of you guys have a Screambox? That is, I still don't have Screambox because there are 9,000 freaking apps out there right now, and it's hard to keep up with it all. And for me, I got to have at least like 3 titles that I got to have in order for me to subscribe to something. And I just haven't had a reason to subscribe to Screambox. I've been a Shudder subscriber because Shudder has a lot of great original content. And they always come up with brand new movies, really good movies. And sometimes those movies will come to theater before they even go to Shudder, like When Evil Lurks. Still is not on Shudder. It comes on Shudder, I think today, actually, When Evil Lurks. So highly recommend that movie. But I'm definitely curious to check out maybe a free trial of Screambox just to see what that Trick or Treat transfer looks like. If any of you guys in the chat have seen it, let me know. But yeah. All right, one more thing. That's the Trick or Treat news real quick. Now we're going to talk about Dream Theater. All right, we're going to do some music talk here, okay, guys? And give you my past with Dream Theater. But to front load it, I'll tell you right now, Mike Portnoy is back in the band after 14 years. 14 years ago, he left the band. The story behind why he left the band was because they were pretty much putting out an album one year, touring the next year. Putting out an album one year, touring the next year. Rinse and repeat, just over and over. And he was getting burnout. And I think he just wanted to try some different things, you know. By that time, they had already been together for, I want to say 20, 25 years. So he had been in the band a long time by the time he left. And the weird thing is, Dream Theater, usually bands after 25 years, they start declining. But Dream Theater has one of the weirdest trajectories because they started off kind of strong. They garnered a cult following back in like the early 90s. And then they just gradually got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But not like, like a meteoric rise. It was always just kind of a gradual thing. They never like went, I guess, quote unquote, viral, like you would say today. They always maintained a loyal cult fan base. And that's just because it's progressive rock. They were probably one of the most successful progressive rocks groups because they brought it to the mainstream. Pretty much, at least the mainstream rock music. Now, my backstory with Dream Theater was when I first came in the military, my first base was in Colorado. And, I was into, your normal rock music from the 80s, I like a lot of deep cut type stuff. But yeah, I was into, Metallica, Megadeth, even Motley Crue, Rat, stuff like that. But I remember this was about the time Nirvana kicked off. And the strange thing is that when Nirvana kicked off, a lot of bands, not all bands, and we did a discussion on this a while back, but a lot of bands were completely just discarded after. You're pretty much out of style now. You got to go. Most of those hair metal bands, okay? This was when Dream Theater first really started, and they definitely had a look similar to a lot of those, what you would call, I guess, kind of hair metal. Although I think hair metal went through a different phase. It looked a certain way in the mid-'80s, and I think even hair metal started kind of stripping down the look in the late 80s. And they blended, they were wearing jeans more and t-shirts. They were blending in a little bit better. And if you look at bands like Rat, when they put out like Detonator, right? Detonator didn't have the same look and sound that they did when they put out like Out of the Cellar. So Dream Theater kind of fit in with a lot of those bands. And even the sound was a little similar. But Dream Theater were progressive. And they were extremely talented, And I went and saw them because let me back up. They had a hit, like a mild hit single called Pull Me Under. And Pull Me Under was everybody loved it in Colorado on the radio. It just became this, and MTV was playing the video. So they had a big hit with Pull Me Under off of Images and Words. And that kind of, I wouldn't say catapulted, but it gave them a music career. They were able to constantly put out albums. And more importantly, they garnered this fan base, this rabid almost fan base. Because when I first heard Pull Me Under, I was instantly a Dream Theater fan. I absolutely loved their sound. It was extremely refreshing. I wasn't the biggest progressive metal fan at the time. I wasn't really into, I guess you could say like Iron Maiden and Rush. I've come to appreciate those bands now throughout the years. And I think that's because Dream Theater opened that door for me, So I was obsessed with Dream Theater for pretty much that whole run while Mike Portnoy was there. Mike Portnoy was such a massive influence on my drumming. I take drums pretty seriously. I've been in like 3 bands myself throughout the years while I was in the military. And when I heard the way Mike Portnoy played the drums, it affected me. And it inspired me to really kind of up my game. And I was playing along with his music. And I don't know, his playing style was just so much more advanced than the other stuff that I was playing. But it was catchy. And, like we hear drumming sometimes and it just sounds kind of like a drum machine. And there's not anything there to just grab you. And because I think if something grabs you and it's infectious, to me that makes it easier to learn because you want to learn it more, right? It doesn't it's fun learning it. So when I was practicing Dream Theater music, I was having a blast. And because I was having so much fun, I was starting to pick it up. So I followed Dream Theater pretty much his whole run. And when he left Dream Theater back in 2009, it kind of shocked the rock world. A lot of people, they had pretty much established a reputation at that time. They were respected as musicians. And so Mike Portnoy was a major part of the writing. Him and John Petrucci, the guitarist, they both wrote a good amount of the music. And so when he left, they got in this other guy, Mike Mangini, super talented drummer, but he's pretty much like a drum machine. If you compare his drumming to Mike Portnoy's, and this is my opinion, his playing sounds more almost like a computer playing. He can play anything. He's like super freaking fast. I think he even has like a Guinness Book of World Records for like the fastest roll on one hand. It's insane. So Mike Mangini is, they got the greatest drummer in the world to replace the greatest drummer in the world, pretty much. And but then Mike Portnoy over the last couple of years kind of rekindled, because there was definitely some bad blood there for a little bit. But over the last couple of years, he kind of rekindled his relationships with the other members of Dream Theater. But I never in my wildest dreams thought that Mike Portnoy would join the band again. And sure enough, just this couple days ago on Wednesday, he posted this picture on Instagram, and it's official now. He's back with Dream Theater. And I was like a kid in a candy store. That's like a Christmas gift. I couldn't believe that. So I just think that first piece of music that is put out by Dream Theater with Mike Portnoy again is going to set the freaking internet on fire. The rock community on fire. I'll tell you right now. Ty Lee, yes, I was going to mention that too. Right after, he left Dream Theater right around the time that the Rev, the drummer for Avenged Sevenfold, died. And so one of the Rev's favorite drummers was Mike Portnoy. And the guys from Avenged Sevenfold, they reached out to Mike Portnoy. They had already had the music written, the drum parts written, so he didn't have to come in and write anything. But the album Nightmare, Mike Portnoy plays all the drums on that album. They had him come in, and he even did a tour with Avenged Sevenfold to support that album. So it was just kind of a one album, one tour type thing. I think Mike Portnoy might have been seduced to stay with Avenged Sevenfold if asked, but the reason they didn't is because he's Mike Portnoy. They didn't want a drummer that's like almost bigger than the band themselves, They wanted somebody that was just a no-name. So then they ended up getting, they went through a couple drummers after Mike Portnoy, actually. So, yeah. But really, really, really awesome to have Mike Portnoy back in the fold of Dream Theater. I would urge you guys to go and listen to, they got a lot of albums out, but I'd say listen to Pull Me Under. Really, really great introduction to the band. Listen to Panic Attack. Panic Attack was actually on Guitar Hero, and when everybody was doing Guitar Hero. They've had a few songs, I think, on Guitar Hero, but it's just it's almost like a super group of musicians, like every musician, John Petrucci, one of the greatest guitarists ever, Mike Portnoy, one of the greatest drummers, John Myung, one of the greatest bassists out there, James LaBrie has a great voice, and Jordan Rudess, the keyboardist, everybody's just like super integral. But it's nice having Mike Portnoy back because now they can have another songwriter in the fold, and he wasn't just any songwriter. He had a whole they called it like the Alcoholics Anonymous suite because he went through AA. And so he wrote like a whole album's worth of material about his experience. And it's genius. What they did was they, say it was like 5 songs worth, and 5 Dream Theater songs are about 10 minutes each. So what he did was over the course of 5 albums, they put 1 song on each album. So it's kind of cool because after it was all said and done, you could make your own playlist of the Alcoholics Anonymous suite. And what's cool about it is every song, they all kind of bleed into each other. They have, you'll see moments from one song. What's the word I'm looking for? re-enter itself. Re-enter itself. What the fuck am I talking about? Represent itself later in another song. You know, one of those types. So, yeah, they're just one of the most creative musicians I've ever seen. I stopped following them after Mike Portnoy left. That's how much it affected me. And I just didn't really bother too much with the Mike Mangini albums. And I'm sure there's some good stuff on there. I've heard some of it, but nothing beats the Mike Portnoy era of Dream Theater. So I urge you guys to, if you like rock music, yeah, definitely look it up. Great stuff. Okay. Dream Theater. And you know what? I got to freaking make a Dream Theater clip. That's awesome. Because Dream Theater, my two favorite bands for a long time were Tool and Dream Theater. Kiss has always been there too. But as far as like heavy rock, it was Kiss and Dream Theater for a good 25 years. And then as soon as Mike Portnoy left the band, I kind of left Dream Theater and I didn't even bother with them that much anymore. So now I think I'm back on Dream Theater. As a matter of fact, over the last couple of days since this announcement on Spotify, I've just been listening to like a ton of Dream Theater again, going back and listening to that stuff. So, yeah. All right, guys, you got any questions for me? This is a fun live stream. Chris, what's up, man? Chris Snyder made it in here. I probably forgot a topic, but we're running out of time anyway. So we'll cover it on the next one. But damn, guys, 100 freaking episodes. It's insane to me. It's really insane that we're here. Wouldn't be here without you guys, right, guys? You guys make this fun. YouTube ain't easy. You go through the hills and valleys. You go through times where you're like, why am I doing this? And then this is why right here. This is why. It's you guys make this so freaking fun. Scott Lauderdale, who are your favorite drummers? My favorite all-time drummer is Danny Carey from Tool. Danny Carey has more of like an emotional approach, but man, he can play any time signature. But he comes up with patterns that are so unexpected and unlike any other drummer I've ever heard. But somehow he comes off as not being showboaty. And, Mike Portnoy can come off as being, showboaty. But the way they put their songs together, Dream Theater, they allow those moments for, a little drum solo part. Tool doesn't really do that. They don't write their songs around a drum solo or anything, Each song is like an emotional journey. That's why Tool will always be my favorite band. But Danny Carey, that guy is freaking, he's amazing. He's so inspiring. And the way he plays, he makes it look easy, But when you try to play it, you're like, oh shit. Right? I was, to give you more drummers though, obviously Mike Portnoy, but I was definitely influenced by Tommy Lee. When I remember when I was in 10th grade and I got my first drum set. And I wanted to learn double bass. And, after I started picking up just the normal patterns, once I started, okay, now I want to learn double bass. I started playing to Livewire by Motley Crue. And anybody that's wanting to learn double bass, I think Livewire is like the perfect song because it's not too fast, And it's just a, it's like that rhythm right there. So, Tommy, and I just love Tommy Lee because he's very creative. He has a showboat type style, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like he can like spin the sticks and he does the flips and all that stuff. He's a presentation when you watch him play, He's entertaining, right? He's not the most technical drummer, but he still has his own style. Like when I hear Tommy Lee play, it's not too long before I'm like, oh, that's Tommy Lee. He's a hard hitter. Let me see. I'm trying to think of other drummers that have really... There was a guy named James Kotak that played for Kingdom Come. He really stuck out to me. I was a really big fan of his. Just really great up top drummer with his fills. Jimmy Chamberlain from Smashing Pumpkins is super fast and ferocious up top. Like, wow. And I respect Jimmy Chamberlain because he doesn't play with a double bass pedal. He rarely ever plays double bass. So I think those are a good list of drummers that I really love. I mean, there's so many freaking amazing drummers out there, you know. Chester says, question, after the events of Halloween 6, what happened to the baby? Did they mention anything about the baby? No, I don't. I wonder if there's a script out there. I'm sure there is. That's a matter of fact. I think, God, what's Daniel Farron's? I think he actually has a treatment for a sequel to Halloween 6, because there's an old commentary that he did quite a few years ago, and on the commentary he talks about how he wrote a treatment. I don't know if it was a full-fledged script, but yeah, there was a treatment. It would be kind of interesting. And that kind of falls into that idea, the multiverse idea I was telling you guys about last week. You could have that episode, you know, where you could have a whole episode around Baby Steven. You know, Baby Steven's in his, almost 30 years old now. So, what's that like? And you could do that episode because you could cast anybody, right? It doesn't have to be that, because he was a baby at the time. So you could cast any young actor, kind of like what they did with freaking Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd wasn't originally Tommy Doyle. So yeah. Travis Barker is a great drummer. Yeah, for sure. I like some of Blink-182, but yeah, he's really great at rudiments too. If you like, there's like a YouTube short of him like practicing before a gig, and he's just like running through these rudiments, warming up. Good stuff. Of course, Dave Grohl, just a hard-hitting drummer. Yeah, I think that's my list. That's my list. But yeah, I think that's I'm getting hungry, guys. I got to get some dinner. But thank you all for stopping by. I had such a blast hanging out with you guys. And just be sure to take care of each other. 100 episodes are behind us. It's insane. And if you're at Spooky Empire on Sunday, if you see me, say hello. I would love to see you guys. I love you, Kevin. Yeah. You guys are really, really awesome. And by the way, before I leave, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, and safe Halloween. Halloween's coming up really soon. And yeah, take care of each other.